Well, welcome back to my kitchen. I am getting ready for a potluck. We are having a Christmas party potluck at church tomorrow. Originally it was going to be more brunch, so that was kind of what I already had planned in my mind. I don't really know exactly how it's going to turn out because I've heard that there's also going to be things like pulled pork and whatnot. But anyway, this is what I'm making. I am just getting ready to do this is the 10 by 15 Pyrex dish. I'm getting ready to put in here as many of these cinnamon rolls as I can. I'm going to make the same cinnamon rolls that I made, like, was that Christmas Eve for breakfast, but instead of using the grands, I'm going to use the big ones. Although I had mentioned that in another video that I was going to try the smaller ones because the big ones at a potluck, who would want a big one? And somebody left a comment saying the cinnamon roll is too big, said nobody ever. So anyway, Warren was in full agreement of that, but I thought it would just for a potluck, it would be nice that more people could get them if I used smaller cinnamon rolls. I'm also going to be doing an egg bake. I'm going to set that stuff off to the side for a moment. All right, so that fits 16 nicely. I actually bought 4 cans because I thought, oh, wouldn't that be nice to have? I was thinking it was going to fit a lot more. I don't really want to open up another can. Well, that's what it's going to be. At this point, I'm going to take heavy cream and I am going to just kind of pour it around the cinnamon rolls. Now, someone left a comment. I hope that you guys are always checking out and reading the comments. There's a lot of great information in there, but someone did mention that the recipe that they follow for making something like very similar to this, you actually pour the cream over the top. Now, I guess I'm just going to stick with it the way my recipe calls for, just because we liked them so well the first time. So now for 2 cans of cinnamon rolls, I'm going to do a whole stick of butter, which is about 8 tablespoons, or not about, it's exactly 8 tablespoons. So into this half a cup, 8 tablespoons of melted butter, I'm going to put 1 and about a half, plus I'm going to do 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Last time I realized that I actually did the cinnamon and vanilla for 1 pan, or for 1 can of cinnamon rolls rather than 2. It was still very good, but I thought, well, the vanilla was so good. You definitely don't want to skimp on the vanilla. It's not pouring. I should have put it in a different, we'll just do it like this. You kind of want it to seep right down into the cinnamon roll. This worked better with the grands. I think just the shape of them, they had more of a little like divot in the center. That's working really well to just make like a little divot with the measuring spoon. You can either foil it and bake it 350 degrees for about 40 minutes. Now, I can't be sure because that would be for the grands, which are a lot bigger. And what I did last time is I took the foil off for about the last 10 minutes. So I think I had it in for about 30 minutes, then took the foil off, baked it a little bit longer. So this time I'm going to foil it, put this in the refrigerator. I will bring this out tomorrow morning and bake it before we go to church. 4 tablespoons of melted butter. All right, on the fly, I have just decided I'm going to double this egg bake recipe. This is a little bit bigger than a 9 by 13. For a single recipe of this egg bake, you would need 8 eggs and 2 cups of milk. I probably should have whisked the eggs first. Since I have so many of them here, it's kind of hard to do that now. And a half a teaspoon of mustard. Now this is what makes this egg bake so delicious, is that it starts with croutons. So first of all, it's already seasoned, which is really yummy. So you could get really whatever crouton flavoring you like. I just get the regular seasoned ones. And then since they're crunchy, they really absorb a lot of the liquid, so you don't get kind of that like runny egg bake. If you know what I'm talking about. I don't really like them when they're kind of runny. I like them when they set up and they're pretty good and stiff. So it says 8 ounces of cheddar cheese. This is 16 ounces, so I guess I need all of this, which seems like a lot. You can use sharp cheddar cheese. That's very delicious in this as well. Then we're going to pour the egg over top. Just make sure that everything is down in the liquid. And at this point, I'm just going to cover this and refrigerate this overnight. Once I have this in the refrigerator, I'm going to come back and I'm going to cook and crumble up a package of bacon. I'll put the bacon all over the top of this tomorrow and bake at 350 degrees for at least 35 minutes, maybe even 45 to 50 minutes, being that I doubled it and it's extra thick. Tonight's supper, I didn't do any filming because we have our grandkids here and I had hot grease. That's, need I say more? So I did, this is a recipe that I had found on Mandy in the Makings channel. You can serve up, Warren, I don't mind. Years ago. And it's for pork cutlets. I've done it with both pork and chicken. It works really, really well. I actually even did it once with like hamburger steaks. And that worked really well too. So we're just serving them up as sandwiches, really however you want. Some lettuce and some tomato. And then Maria made some macaroni and cheese, and that is going to be supper here tonight. Good morning, everybody. I'm in the kitchen here because I have to get my 2 casseroles into the oven for our potluck today. So what I did is I pulled them out of the refrigerator while I went out and did my workout. And yes, I'm still keeping up with it. It is 0 right now. Today's was melt your muffin top. It was only like a 10 or 11 minute video. It was very quick. And it was very good. I actually came in breathing quite hard, but I've still been doing that outside. I have upped my clothing though. I know this is not food related, but here's what I'm doing now. So normally I just wear like a pair of thin, some kind of like little exercise pants, but I've been putting on a pair of fleece lined leggings, and then I put my exercise pants on over it. And then I usually would just wear this sport, like workout kind of top, and then wear my coat. That's kind of how I had been doing it. But now I've upped to another layer. So I put on my workout, like kind of sport sort of top or whatever. Then I put on a shirt, and then I put on a jacket. And it's just kind of a fuzzy, fleecy zip-up jacket. But I wear a neck gaiter that I tuck in, and then I put my hat over, and then mittens. Not gloves, mittens. Because then your fingers are more together, it keeps you warm, and it was fine. Let's get the oven preheated to 350 degrees. So my point there was that I put the casseroles on top of the stove. You know, I brought them in from the refrigerator and just kind of let them warm up a little bit, although it's not very warm in the house either right now. It's about 64, 65 right now. I'm going to get those into the oven, so I'm going to put the egg casserole in first. I have my bacon here. Okay, this is what it looks like, all absorbed. You know, like all of the croutons have absorbed a lot of that liquid and everything. Just kind of spread it around. This is the amount of bacon for one recipe, a single recipe. If I would have been thinking I was going to double it, I would have brought up another pack to thaw, but I just didn't. I didn't think I was going to do a double. So I feel like it's going to be a little bit light on bacon. I have just a tiny bit of these little bacon crumbles left, so I'm actually going to put those on too. It's not very much. Now, if bacon is not your thing, you can use pork sausage, like a breakfast sausage. That's very good. Like the bulk sausage that you just fry up. Those pre-cooked links, if you just chop them up, that's also very good on top of this. I have also done ham. So again, at Aldi, that's my washing machine spinning right now. Also at Aldi, the ham that comes, you know, it's kind of like a half moon or like a half oval, and it's sliced a little bit thicker, so it's kind of like lunch meat, but it's not as thin. That ham, I just chop that up. It's the same ham that I put into the scallop potatoes, like the boxed mix scallop potatoes. That also is really, really good in this casserole. And if you want like triple meat, go for all of it. Do the sausage and the bacon and the ham. That would be very, very good. I've never done that, but it would be good. I just know it would be, especially for the meat lovers in the house. It's going to go in for sure 35 minutes, but like I said, this is a doubled amount, so I'm pretty sure it's going to take longer, just because, you know, it's a lot thicker, it's a lot deeper. But I really wanted it to be, substantial, so that when we cut the pieces, you know, I can cut them sort of small, but they'll be thick. And let's look at the cinnamon rolls. The butter, all that melted butter is going to have hardened, which is fine. But I'll just show you what it looks like. Right, that's what they look like right now. You can see the cream and the butter has firmed up. I'm going to put the cover back on that. My 30-minute timer just went off, so I just took the foil off of the cinnamon rolls, and I'm going to continue to let these bake at least another 15 minutes, both casseroles. 2 casseroles in the oven, 30 minutes foil on, 15 minutes with the foil off. It looks really, really good. They're, you know, they got a little bit of browning, but they're still soft. I'm going to open up these 2 packets of frosting and just drizzle that over the top of them. I did recently see a recipe similar to this, and what they did to really up it is they used the cream cheese frosting that came with the Grand's cinnamon rolls, and they made some additional cream cheese frosting, and then they stirred in the frosting that came with them into the homemade and spread that on. I thought, oh, that looked really, really good too. Now, sometimes with an egg bake, it doesn't always look done, but I have found that if you wait until it seems completely done, it's going to get a little too dry. So the best is to make, it's kind of like lasagna. You want to make it with enough time for it to rest and really set up. And that's the same thing with this. So you want to, it still looks, you know, kind of wet like that, but when I touch it, even in here, when I touch it, it's not like it just sinks right down. So I'm going to put the foil over it, and it is just going to set up, and I mean, we're not eating this for another 2 hours. I have to pack it up, we have to drive to church, that's a half hour, we have at least an hour of church, and then by the time everybody gets downstairs and gets in line and all of that kind of thing, it's going to be at least 2 hours. So let me get the foil on, and what I have found has worked pretty well is I'll take a cooler and I'm going to line it with towels, and then I'm going to put these casseroles in there and put more towels over it, close the lid, and I will just take it downstairs to the basement of church just like that, in a cooler, all wrapped in towels, and it'll stay warm. It's probably not going to be hot, but it will stay warm enough to still be enjoyable.